Da-da, 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 da. So hey, what's up, guys? It's me, Mr.sacrecrow again. I'm bringing you guys two new stories. One is called The Rake. Many of you have hopefully read it, saw videos of it, or freaking took a piss and hey, look, there it goes. But yeah. The other one's called The Thing in the Window. This is actually a brand new one I've just discovered. Some of you may know it, hopefully. If you guys don't, then that's cool. You guys are just like me, barely finding this thing out. It's a pretty cool story. It's kind of creepy. Both these things are actually kind of creepy. So yeah, I'm just going to post them up. I'm going to do it randomly. I was going to just tell you guys, but I'm just going to put one up randomly. And then I'm going to tell you, when that ends, I'm just going to have another thing. Just have yeah, you know, whatever, the next story, blah, 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 then put the video up. So it's going to be a 2-in-1, okay? So that's the best deal I can give you guys. Maybe I'll give you guys a 4-in-1 one day and stuff like that. But yeah, this is a good deal for right now. 2 stories in 1 video. Holy crap, that's the best deal. That's more than I don't know, but fuck it. So yeah, so hope you guys liked the video. And before I let you guys watch it, I know I talk a lot, but yeah, the other video I posted something up on it at the end. And some of you may have gotten mad. Some of you guys may have gotten, I don't know, upset. Same thing. What the hell? But, yeah, it was all just a joke. Haha. So, yeah. So I promise in this video I will not have anything like that in here. That was just for shits and giggles, I guess. But I promise after this, after that video actually, I will not put anything up like that. Only if you guys want me to. I mean, I don't know, people like getting scared. But in this video, it's just strictly the video, nothing else. You know, sound and that's it. But no pop-ups, no butt raping pirates that I don't know, freaking whatevers. But yeah, I hope you guys.
Chilling tales for dark nights.
The thing has been there for almost a week now. The figure in the window. It looks featureless. Only skin on a human frame. And it's pressing itself against the glass somehow. I don't know how it got there. I don't even know how to get rid of it. At first I thought it was a prank, a doll or a mannequin that some jerks put there to scare me. But I realized as I walk out my house to pull it away, it wasn't there. I shrugged it off, thinking that someone had hidden it while I was talking through my door. But I went back and I looked out the same window. It was looking in, staring at me. I walked around my house, yelling for whoever it was to come out, but no one was there. The thing is hairless, naked, and it didn't look like it actually had eyes, or even a face at all. But its head is turned towards me when I enter the room. When I sit on my computer, I can feel its faceless hatred boring into my skin, into my neck. But when I turn around, it's innocently turned in a different direction. Finally, on Thursday, I tried to open the window, but it's stuck. I think that thing's hands are keeping it down. But I got a good look at its face. Its eyes, its mouth are behind the skin, pushing outwards. It stared at me, smiling. Of course, I screamed. I pulled back a fist and smashed it onto the glass, determined once and for all to get rid of the glaring monster. I know I'm strong enough. That glass should have cracked, but it didn't. It shuddered under my hand, but it didn't break. And that smile just got wider and wider and wider, until I thought its head would break in half. It raised its own hand and bashed the window with its palm. It was mocking me. But I saw the faintest crack begin to appear where it had hit, and I backed away. No way did I want that smile in the same room as me. So I got a roll of duct tape and I started covering the window. I couldn't look directly at it. I nearly shit my pants just knowing it was watching me. But I couldn't help it. I took a quick glance at the skin-covered face, a small peek. It was angry. That grin was now a gaping frown full of teeth. The skin had ripped away from its mouth, and I could see it down its carnivorous throat. A menacing rumble started to fill the house, and that hairline crack began to spread like splintering ice. I pulled down the duct tape. The rumbling stopped. The splint skin healed over, and began to smile again. Now it's the night, and the noise hasn't started again. There are no sounds, no rumbles, no crackling glass. Everything's quiet now. I can feel its claws gripping the back of my chair. I can hear its skin stretching as it smiles. It's watching me type this.
During the summer of 2003, events in the northeastern United States involving a strange, human-like creature sparked brief local media interest before an apparent blackout was enacted. Little or no information was left intact, as most online and written accounts of the creature were mysteriously destroyed. Primarily focused in the rural New York State, self-proclaimed witnesses told stories of their encounters with a creature of unknown origin. Emotions ranged from extremely traumatic levels of fright and discomfort to an almost childlike sense of playfulness and curiosity. While their published versions are no longer on record, the memories remain powerful, and several of the involved parties began looking for answers that year. In early 2006, the collaboration had accumulated nearly 24 documents dating between the 12th century and present day, spanning 4 continents. In almost all cases, the stories were identical. I've been in contact with a member of the group and was able to get some excerpts from their upcoming book. There we go. A Suicide Note, 1964. As I prepare to take my life, I feel it necessary to assuage my guilt or pain I have introduced through this act. It is not the fault of anyone other than him. For once I awoke and felt his presence. And once I awoke and saw his form. Once again I awoke and heard his voice, and looked into his eyes. I cannot sleep without fear of what I might next awake to experience. I cannot ever wake. Goodbye. Also, found in the same wooden box were 2 empty envelopes addressed to William and Rose, and 1 loose personal letter with no envelope. Dearest Linny, I have prayed for you. He spoke your name. And here's one. Journal entry, that's translated from Spanish, 1880. I have experienced the greatest terror. I have experienced the greatest terror. I have experienced the greatest terror. I see his eyes when I close mine. They are hollow, black. They saw me and pierced me. His wet hand. I will not sleep. His voice. And then there's not really, can't really make out the next bit of text here. Okay, here's one. Mariner's Log. This one is 1691. He came to me in my sleep. From the foot of my bed I felt a sensation. He took everything. We must return to England. We shall not return here at the request of the Rake. Okay, here's a good one. Witness account from 2006. 3 years ago, I had just returned from a trip from Niagara Falls with my family for the 4th of July. We were all very exhausted after a long day of driving, so my husband and I put the kids right to bed and called it a night. At about 4 a.m., I woke up thinking my husband had gotten up to use the restroom. I used the moment to steal back the sheets, only to wake him in the process. I apologized and told him I thought he'd gotten out of bed. When he turned to face me, he gasped and pulled his feet up from the end of the bed so quickly his knee almost knocked me out of the bed. He then grabbed me and said nothing. After adjusting to the dark for half a second, I was able to see what caused the strange reaction. At the foot of the bed, sitting and facing away from us, there was what appeared to be a naked man, or a large, hairless dog of some sort. Its body position was disturbing and unnatural, as if it had been hit by a car or something. For some reason, I was not instantly frightened by it, but more concerned as to its condition. At this point, I was somewhat under the assumption that I was supposed to help him. My husband was peering over his arm and knee, tucked into the fetal position, occasionally glancing at me before returning to the creature. In a flurry of motion, the creature scrambled across the side of the bed, and then crawled quickly in a flailing sort of motion right along the bed until it was less than a foot from my husband's face. The creature was completely silent for about 30 seconds, or probably closer to 5. It just seemed like a while. Just looking at my husband. The creature then placed its hand on his knee and ran into the hallway leading to the kids' room. I screamed and ran for the light switch, planning to stop him before he hurt my children. When I got to the hallway, the light from the bedroom was enough to see it crouched and hunched over about 20 feet away. He turned around and looked directly at me, covered in blood. I flipped the switch on the wall and saw my daughter Clara. The creature ran down the stairs while my husband and I rushed to help our daughter. She was very badly injured and spoke only once more in her short life. She said, "He is the Rake." My husband drove his car into the lake that night, while rushing our daughter to the hospital. He did not survive. Being a small town, news got around pretty quick. The police were helpful at first, and the local newspaper took a lot of interest as well. However, the story was never published, and local television news never followed up either. For several months, my son Justin and I stayed in a hotel near my parents' house. After we decided to return home, I began looking for answers myself. I eventually located a man in the next town over who had a similar story. We got in contact and began talking about our experiences. He knew of 2 other people in New York who had seen the creature we are now referring to as the Rake. It took the 4 of us about 2 solid years of hunting on the internet and writing letters to come up with a small collection of what we believed to be accounts of the Rake. None of them gave any details, history, or follow-up. One journal had an entry involving the creature in its first 3 pages, and never mentioned it again. A ship's log explained nothing of the encounter, saying only that they were to leave by order of the Rake. That was the last entry in the log. There were, however, many instances where the creature's visit was one of a series of visits with the same person. Multiple people also mentioned being spoken to, my daughter included. This led us to wonder if the Rake had visited any of us before our last encounters. So I set up a digital recorder near my bed and left it running all night, every night, for 2 weeks. I would tediously scan through the sounds of me rolling around in bed each day when I woke up. By the end of the 2nd week, I was quite used to the occasional sound of sleep while blaring through the recording at 8 times the normal speed. It still took about an hour every day. But on the first day of the 3rd week, I thought I heard something different. What I found was a shrill voice. It was the Rake. I can't listen to it long enough to even begin to transcribe it. I haven't let anyone listen to it yet. All I know is that I've heard it before, and I now believe that it spoke when it was sitting in front of my husband. I don't remember hearing anything at the time, but for some reason the voice on the recorder immediately brings me back to that moment. The thoughts that must have gone through my daughter's head make me very upset. I have not seen the Rake since he ruined my life, but I know that he's been in my room while I slept. I know, and I fear that one night I'll wake up to see him staring at me.